So we got a new channel going here. We're planning to keep this going. Sorry for the shitty mic quality. We got one coming in, so this was an on the spot type of thing. But anyway, it's A and G.
Yeah.
We're ranking the NFL teams, all 32 of them for the 2024-25 season. So we're kind of gonna do something back and forth, like I'm gonna rank one, he's gonna rank one, I'm gonna rank one, he's gonna rank one. But we got Super Bowl favorites, which is gonna be it's pretty self-explanatory. There's a few up there, and then playoff teams, potential wild cards, missing the playoff, and first pick contention. So like the Giants, like terrible teams.
Yeah. Yep. So, we got a lot of good teams this season. A lot of good teams in this ranking.
A lot of people
Actually,
moved in the off season.
Not that many good teams in this off season, I will say. This NFL is pretty off balance, I would say. But
All right,
we're gonna see how it does.
we're gonna start this off with the Saints. I would say that they're a potential, not even wild card, but potentially making the playoffs because of how bad that division is. The NFC South is up for anyone's grabs except for the Panthers. I would say so. I wouldn't be surprised if they made the playoffs, but I'm gonna put them in wild card. That's potential playoffs, basically. All right, Dolphins.
All right, Miami Dolphins. So, had a good season last season. Where are we gonna put these guys? I would say playoff teams, right? I don't think the Dolphins are ready for Super Bowl favorites yet. I don't think they're up there yet. They're a good team. They're a solid team. They're a good pick. We'll see how the season goes, but yeah.
Key pieces like Tyreek, if Tua doesn't choke like he does every game, like Week 18 against the Bills, all that, just chokes constantly. I think that they could go up, and A-Chain's developing. He was doing good, but he's injury prone. Ravens, I don't think this much of a question. They're arguably the best team in the league. Plus, they just got Derrick Henry. That read option with Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry is going to be like unstoppable for defensive lines. Like, you either have the power in Derrick Henry or the speed in Lamar Jackson. And that's a 1-2 punch.
They still have Kamara? Super Bowl favorite. No question about that one. Moving on. Bengals. This is a solid team. Joe Burrow, he's put 15 pounds of muscle on over the offseason. He's a solid player. He's a good player. They've got good players. They got Jamar Chase. They're doing good. I
would say top of playoff teams, like above the Dolphins for sure, but definitely not. I don't think they're favorites for the Super Bowl, but if they get to the Super Bowl, no one would be surprised. They have solid pieces. They're good.
Yeah, they're a pretty well put together team. That offensive line needs a little bit of work, but Burrow's a good player. They got good young players. I think they're definitely near the top of the playoff teams for certain.
All right. We got the Broncos. Just drafted Bo Nix. He's might be Zach Wilson, Bo Nix. They're number one pick contention, honestly. Unless Bo Nix comes in and plays like C.J. Stroud last year, which isn't going to happen, they're not doing much. They don't have much going on. They have a decent defense. Their best offensive weapons like Cortland Sutton, who's a wide receiver 2 on half the teams in the upper echelon of the tier list. So I would say number one pick contention for sure.
Yeah, 100%. They're in full rebuild mode right now. So I don't see much coming from them. Moving on, Giants. Now, this is a team that's been shitty. This is not
They have been shitty, except for that 2022 season. They were just bad.
This is a team that's been shitty. They're not going to stop being shitty. They just traded away one of their
Saquon to a division rival.
Yeah, this is not looking good for them.
And they're going at the bottom. Like, I genuinely will say, I will not be surprised if they go 0-17. They've got like neighbors in the draft, but who's throwing the ball cross-eyed Daniel Jones? It's not going to be doing anything effective. So
this is not happening for the New York Giants. This is not good.
The Vikings. This might be a hot take, to be honest, but I'm not high on J.J. McCarthy. They're missing the playoffs. I don't know. I don't see it for the Vikings. Yeah, they have Justin Jefferson, but that defense last season did not hold up. Plus, they lost pieces on it. I don't really see it for the Vikings. I would say they're like a mid 7-10 team again. I don't really see it for them, but that's just they're mid, just definition of mid.
Yeah.
So the Rams are in the bottom of playoff teams. I'd say honestly, they could make a case. Them and the Dolphins are interchangeable, I would say. But they have good pieces. Puka Nacua is like coming in, but I would put them maybe. I'm gonna put them above the Dolphins. Kind of a hot take there, but you know. And then the Bucks, I would say, are they're right there with the Saints. Exact same deal.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I think Falcons are gonna win that division, but I would probably put them above. Just
slightly above the Saints. I agree with that. Yeah, a little bit better. They have the edge on the Saints for certain. Yeah,
just experience-wise, yeah, for sure. The Lions are Super Bowl favorites, but I don't know if they would be above or below the Ravens, to be honest.
I would put them below the Ravens. Just because, barely below the Ravens. Just because they have a lot of good talent and a lot of good young talent too. They have good and they got a great coach behind them too. I think, definitely Super Bowl favorites. I think a little bit behind the Ravens. Just the Ravens have so much talent on that team. There's so many good players, good coach. They got a lot going for them. So
Bears have done so much over the past 2 seasons. Last season, if they didn't blow those 2 games in the fourth quarter against like the Lions and the Broncos, they would have made the playoffs maybe, I think, but they would have gone positive with their record for sure. So I think that I want to put them as a playoff team, but I'm not fully sold on Caleb Williams at quarterback. So like, I'll just say that they're kind of potential wild cards, but they're not. There's no team that's going in front of them in that potential wild card slot because I think that they're going to make the playoffs, but I'm just not quite sold on Caleb Williams yet because nobody is. He hasn't even played a game.
Yeah.
49ers.
I mean, they are a force to be reckoned with. They have been for the past 3 years. They've put together a lot of good teams. Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle, all those guys. I think they're Super Bowl favorites. I'm going to go ahead and say.
I would put them
49ers Super Bowl favorites.
Honestly, I put them below the Lions, but.
Yeah. I think the Lions are. I don't think the 49ers are doing as good as they did this season. I think they have a lot more competition in their division.
And in the NFC,
especially in their conference, NFC looks powerful for the 24 season. Yeah.
All right, this might be biased because I'm an Eagles fan, but I'm putting them above the Lions in that, which that's not biased to be honest, because the offense that we have this year is insane. Like, I don't know. We have so many offensive pieces. It looks like a Pro Bowl roster for our offense. Our defense can use work, but I think that and plus we got new coordinators and coaching instead of last year, which was bad. That's why we fell apart. I think we'll be back. Honestly, I'm going to move us below the Lions, not be too biased. But I definitely think that we have the edge on the 49ers this year. That's just my kind of.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I think the Eagles look good. They look good, especially on offense. Saquon, Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. I mean, they have a lot of weapons. Like a lot of guys that would stand out on any other NFL team. I don't think they have the edge on the Lions, but definitely on the 49ers. So, yeah. Moving on to the Raiders.
They're a potential wild card for sure. They had some good games last year. I don't remember specifically. I remember one against the Chiefs on Thanksgiving. I think maybe it was Christmas. One of those 2 they won.
Yeah.
I remember that their defense was it was great with Max Crosby. That's just one, but I think that I wouldn't be surprised if they made the playoffs. But I don't have them locked. But definitely the Packers, they're at the top of playoff teams because they proved themselves last year with Jordan Love. He just came out of nowhere, to be honest. That was like, boom, there's Jordan Love. He's Then they did that to the Cowboys in the wild card round. They just came out to play, and I think that they're gonna develop even more this season. But Washington.
So, fuck, you gotta take Washington. I don't know nothing about Washington.
Washington has got pieces over the offseason, but I'm not like, they're a potential wild card, but at the bottom of it, definitely, because I could see them making that, because the NFC East has a relatively easy schedule, but there's mid. I could see them making it, but I also wouldn't be surprised if they don't. The Cardinals are missing. That nothing really needs to be said there. I don't think that they're a number one pick contention anymore since they got Kyler back, Marvin Harrison.
Yeah.
I think that they're fine there.
They're in that shitty in between number one pick contention and definitely missing the playoffs. So
give them 3 years and they'll be okay.
Yeah.
I think Steelers are honestly gonna miss the playoffs. I don't see it. I'm not sold on them. I don't have their quarterback situation, Russell Wilson, Justin Fields. I could put them at the bottom of potential wild cards, but I don't really see it, and I don't want that category to get too full.
I think after Russell Wilson's gone, Justin Fields is in his full potential. I think Steelers are going to be a good team. They got good young players.
Give it a year or two. They'll be good. Bills are taking a step off. I'm honestly going to put them down. I don't think that they're a locked playoff team. Maybe I'll put them at the bottom of playoff teams since Josh Allen's proved himself. But they lost Gabe Davis, Stephon Diggs. They're just kind of like falling apart.
Yeah.
They can never get it done in the playoffs. I don't see them as Super Bowl favorites because they never.
Certainly not. No. Yeah.
Definitely. I think I'm going to put the Falcons at the bottom of this too because I see them winning that division, but any of these two can win. Panthers, they got nothing. I'm just gonna get this out of the way. They're going in the bottom with the Giants. That's pretty interchangeable there.
Yeah.
Patriots, I'm just gonna go through this now because there's a bunch of shitty teams. I'm gonna say the Patriots are bottom of that. There's really nothing you could say unless Drake May comes out and plays great. I don't see anything for him. Seahawks is kind of one to talk about. I would say that they're in the middle of potential wild cards.
I agree with that. I think Seahawks, they have a good roster, good talents, good weapons, but middle of potential wild cards.
Yeah, they have good defense. I don't see them with Geno Smith and Sam Howell. I don't really see it. But Browns, I think honestly they proved themselves last year, but I have no clue who their quarterback is. I don't know what happened to Deshaun Watson. I don't know. I'm going to put them at the bottom of playoff teams. I wouldn't be surprised if they go back. I'm not counting them out with that at all, but I can also see them missing. I'm going to put them, honestly, right there with the Bears. These two, I would say. I'll put them above the Bears, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, better than the Bears. Yeah, better than the Bears, but not a lock in the playoffs, I would say.
This is a hot take. Honestly not a hot take. The Texans are Super Bowl favorites. Not favorites to win the Super Bowl because their roster's still very young, but they've just been making moves. Now they have Stephon Diggs. They've just continuously picked it up.
With that little bit of momentum at the end of the season, especially with that young roster, the way they were able to, kind of keep their heads level and move through the playoffs, that was impressive.
Till the second round, but
yeah.
Chiefs, I'll put them up there just so that there's 3 from the AFC, 3 from the NFC, but definitely at the bottom, I see them taking a step back, but they also do have Patrick Mahomes. But Travis Kelce looked like he was kind of stepping off from last season. I don't know. Cowboys, he's a Cowboys fan,
A little bit
and I'm a biased Eagles fan. I would put them up here. I would put them in the playoff teams. I don't think they're as good as the Eagles.
I don't. No, they're not. We just don't have the same talent as the Eagles do, I'd say. But I put them above the Bengals for sure. I think they're better than
Packers, though,
everybody but the Packers in that playoff team. Yeah.
I think that's a good spot for them. The Chargers, honestly, they're wasting Justin Herbert. I'm putting them at the top of the number 1 pick because I think that their wide receiver room is like Quentin Johnson, Joshua Palmer, and somebody else. I don't even know. They have no room for the number 1 or they have no room for like a number 1 wide receiver that anyone can even like name. I don't see it for them. They've just fallen apart. Yeah, they got new coaching, but I don't see it. Jets, I would say, are potential. I would say they're right up there with the Browns and the Bears. I would say that these three, like Browns, Bears, and Jets, are like all in the same. They're interchangeable.
Definitely.
I would say because they have a lot of talent. Aaron Rodgers is coming back, obviously, but
yeah, definitely a solid squad, especially those rookies from last year, put on quite a show last season. So I think they're a good team, and I think they are going to definitely keep getting better.
Titans, I would say, honestly, are in there too because they snag a lot of people. Will Levis looked great. Like he was showing flashes last season of being a great quarterback that's going to be in the league for years. I know that they got L'Jarius Sneed from the Chiefs. I don't really remember who else they got, but I remember them getting a lot of people during the offseason, I think. I would say the Colts are in the same kind of realm as well.
Yeah.
I put them above them. They were so close last season.
Yeah.
That one drop at the end of the season that the Texans made the playoffs over them, they were like so close, yeah. I would say. I would honestly put the Jags.
We've got so many in the potential wild card spot. This is difficult. You know, I say we put Jags, yeah, like better than the Raiders. Pretty solid squad.
I would say that they're better than the Titans. And no, I honestly don't see them better than the Titans. They lost to them last year.
Yeah.
Twice, I think. So definitely, I would say that's the kind of Washington. I feel like this is I don't see Washington, honestly. Yeah, I see the Steelers down there. Granted, I could see Washington making the playoffs, but I don't know. I don't really see any team cutting off past the Bucks. I don't really see making the playoffs. That's like they're not making a wild card spot. They're making the division spot. They're not. But these teams could all definitely be wild card teams. These teams, division winners in contention for the division at least. These teams are going to most likely make a run in the playoffs somewhat, at least the second round, I would say. They all can't make it to the third round, but I could say that they would probably all make it decently far or to the Super Bowl. I would say definitely two of these teams are making the Super Bowl. But that's going to conclude 100%. Our list here.
Yeah. I would say two of those teams make that Super Bowl. 100%.
That concludes the list. We're just going to start uploading like a bunch of stuff just because we're bored. You know, yeah. Stuff's going up. We're just going to make like probably 4 tonight maybe. I don't know. We're going to see how this goes. So, all right. We're posting this. Peace.
Peace.